Draft system cleaning is one of the most important things that we can do to not only maintain the quality of the beer, but also to ensure the profitability of the draft system. All draft beer lines should be cleaned on a 2-week cycle with a recirculation pump. When draft lines are not properly maintained, anaerobic and aerobic bacteria like lactobacillus, pediococcus, pectinatus, and acetobacter start growing in the draft system. While these microorganisms are not health risks, they will cause buttery off flavors called diacetyl and sour and vinegar off flavors called acetic acid. In this video, we're going to do a step-by-step process of recirculation pump cleaning according to the Draft Beer Quality Manual by the Brewers Association. Recirculation pump cleaning is the industry standard for draft line cleaning and is far more effective than canister or static cleaning. So let's head on over. For the purposes of this video, we'll be cleaning 4 lines at once. For recirculation cleaning, we're going to create a loop with all 4 lines. I'll give a quick overview. To start, we'll hook our pump into line number 1. That's going to send our flow in the reverse direction of the beer down into the cooler. We're then going to connect line 1 to line 2, and that's going to bring our flow back up to the bar. We'll use a jumper to connect line 2 to line 3, which will send the flow back to the cooler. In the cooler, we'll connect line 3 to line 4, which will bring our flow back up to the bar. At this point, we'll put a drain line on line 4. Theoretically, we could add jumper lines and make more connections in the cooler to clean as many lines as we wanted, as long as we're maintaining a good flow rate for our cleaning. So let's head down into the cooler and we'll start our first step. All right, now we're in the cooler. We've untapped our 4 kegs. And we're going to use a cleaning flusher to connect line 1 to line 2. And a second cleaning flusher to connect line 3 to line 4. So now we're back up at the bar, and we've got our 4 lines all hooked together in the cooler. We're going to start by pulling all 4 faucets off of their shelves. We're going to set these over on the bar. I recommend keeping them in order so you can replace them appropriately. And we'll set these aside so we can go detail our faucets. We will eventually put our pump into line 1, but now we're going to make a connection with a jumper connecting our 1 and 2 pair from the cooler and our 3 and 4 pair from the cooler. And about 1/4 of a turn with your wrench will get it snug. We're now going to add our drain line from line 4 down to our bucket. While we were doing our setup, I was filling my bucket with warm water. We're shooting for about 80 to 110 degrees. We say going for hot tub temperature. So at this point, what we want to do is prime our pump. This will prevent us from pushing a large pocket of air through the entire system. All we're doing is just filling the pump with water. Now that we've primed our pump, we can hook our pump up into line 1. We now have created a complete loop where our pump is going to push into line 1, out of line 2, connected to line 3, and then back out of line 4 into our drain bucket. Now I have my inlet hose in my water bucket, and I have my drain hose in what will become my chemical bucket. So now I can turn on my pump and we can push all of the beer out of the system into the white chemical bucket. Now that we've pushed all the beer out of the system, we can turn off our pump. Now that we've purged all the beer from the system, I'm going to take a mental note of about how much beer came from the system. This is going to let me know how much water is in the system, and that's going to help me calculate how much chemical to use. Now we'll dump our beer and rinse our bucket. We're now going to turn our pump on and allow our warm water to pour through the entire system and into our chemical bucket. We're going to allow our chemical bucket to fill up with about 2 inches, just enough to cover the inlet hose. We want to keep that volume low for 2 main reasons. One, we don't want to have a lot of bath in there because we're going to need to use more chemical to concentrate our entire bath. Secondly, if you ever have a leak, you're going to know right away because your chemical bucket will quickly become empty. Now that we've got about 2 inches of water in our bath, we can take our inlet hose out of our water bucket and put it directly into our chemical bucket. We now have a completely closed loop, and we can add our chemical to the system. As you recall, we had about 1.5 gallons of beer in the system, and we have a little under a half a gallon in our bath here. So in total, we have about 2 gallons. These capfuls are about 3 ounces. So at 6 ounces per gallon, we're gonna wanna add 4 capfuls to our mixture. I'm gonna slowly add these so the chemical can dose throughout the entire system as the pump is recirculating. Now that we've added our chemical, we can start our timer. It's recommended to have a minimum of 15 minutes of recirculation. While this is recirculating, now we can go break down, disassemble, and hand clean our faucets. Now that our 15-minute timer is up, we're going to rinse cool, fresh water through the entire system. We're going to start by taking our inlet hose out of our chemical bucket and putting that into our cool, fresh water. We're going to let enough water go through the system until we're confident that all chemical has been pushed from the entire system. We also recommend using pH strips to ensure that all the chemical has been removed from the system. We can then pull off all of our cleaning equipment and add on our clean faucets. We're now back in the cooler where we can clean our couplers and retap our kegs. Couplers should be scrubbed every 2 weeks and should be disassembled and hand cleaned every 6 months. And once we have clean, fresh beer coming through the system, we can spot check our entire work area, including the bar and the cooler, making sure that everything is left cleaner than when we arrived. A 2-week line cleaning cycle using a recirculation pump and proper chemical concentration is the best way to ensure great tasting beer and a profitable draft system. Whether you're a retailer, a wholesaler, or a line cleaning company, we appreciate your efforts to help keep our beer fresh for our shared consumers.